that scratching was making me itch.
What once was in the underground has now by elements been found. And like anywhere you see fresh meat, the culture vultures come to eat. Now with hip-hop on his lip, Malcolm McLaren begins his trip. How he went to the planet rock and came back to Britain in future shock. Because though he thought punk was the top, he found the groove was in hip-hop.
Working with a group called Bow Wow Wow. I came over there because they were signed to RCA Records and I was looking to put them on in a hall in Manhattan somewhere. But the terrible thing was I was really stuck for a responsible and interesting and exciting kind of opening act. And there was nothing happening in New York at all. And a friend of mine introduced me to a guy who I met on the street somewhere down Fifth Avenue. He told me about an incredible scene that was happening, not in Manhattan, but out in a suburb known as the South Bronx. And he said if I'd like, I could come down on a Saturday night where they were holding a big party and I would see something that couldn't possibly have ever existed in England. And I decided to actually pitch up with him on Saturday night. Upon arriving, the party, unbeknown to me, I thought it was going to be inside a house, was actually out in the open, in a wasteland, surrounded by these huge fired-out condominiums. And there, in the midst of it, was about 1,000 kids. I couldn't believe it. I was very, very worried, being the only white guy there, and the cab driver gave me the signature that I should put my dollars in my socks. Nevertheless, I escorted myself across the road with this guy and made my way through the crowd, pushing and shoving, until I got to the decks where the music was coming from. Shook hands with this huge fat guy, who later became known to me as a guy called Africa Bambaataa. And what I witnessed was a various group of different young kids who were popping in and out amongst the decks, messing about with records. Now, as far as I could see, it was extraordinary because the sound coming out was totally inarticulate. It was a load of rough noises, noises that sounded a little like a guitar, but had a sort of like a concrete chisel sound, right? And the sound, I realized, was actually coming from the way they were messing around with their hands on the decks, moving records backwards and forwards. But they weren't just doing it with one record, they were doing it with two, and they were mixing across one to the other. In fact, it was making music out of other people's music. As time went on, and I stuck around for an hour or so, the crowd was extremely volatile and at times would jump into pitched battles. But at one point or another, people would move to the sides and a group of kids would start freaking out in the middle of doing all these incredible gymnastic dancing.
What McLaren saw was called hip-hop, energy in motion that you could not stop, demanding all of your imagination if you were to share in the celebration. Now, it wasn't enough to just be good. You had to be super bad, because when you hit that floor, your reputation was just about all you had.
I think hip-hop is being in control of your body. That's the whole art of it, actually understanding that you're much bigger than you are. It's a demonstration of your prowess. If you haven't got a dime in your pocket, the one thing you can do on Madison Avenue is spin on your head and show all the white honkies moving out of the Chase Manhattan Bank on the lunchtime and say, well, hell, beat that. And if you can't, here's my cap. Give me a few dollars.